We are in the midst of challenging times, no doubt. Everywhere we turn, we're hit with news that affects us all on a deep level. Some deeper than others. Many of what we are facing in the world triggers alarms within, sounding off warnings that we better buckle in for a bumpy ride, or else be tossed out of our seats and land in the sea of what can only be described as incomprehensible. Families are being torn apart by indifferences, brought out by politicians and religions. What once used to be an energizing get-together with those we care about has now flipped into something that brings on panic, fears, and insecurities for some. The situations that bring these emotional levees to the breaking point may change along with the passing tides. But here's what remains the same. The solutions lay not in an instruction manual that in some make-believe world we'd be privy to get our hands on, but rather in our ability to act with love and compassion in order to bridge new pathways to peace within the context of our own lives. We may not be able to solve the issues of the world at large, but we can start with healing those parts of ourselves that hurt and need nurturing, so as to bring the best version of ourselves into the world to make small impacts that create larger ripples. Whatever the situation you may be experiencing, know that you do have some form of control over what you allow in. I personally am having a difficult time watching the news or scrolling through Facebook these days. The toxicity is killing my creative mojo. And I can't afford for that to happen because I'm smack dab in the crunch time of getting my next novel ready for publication. To allow myself to be yanked into the trauma puts my work at a distinct disadvantage. And so, in my own way, I had to figure out a way to pull off the current road and get onto one where I could concentrate again. I had to tune out to tune in. I realize how challenging it can be to tune out to what the rest of the world is tuning into. It feels a little bit like being shot up into outer space and tossed onto a barren planet, all alone. No news, no concept of how the rest of humanity is getting along. Just you and space. Lots and lots of space. To do your work, to progress, to make your mark, to eventually contribute value to a world that so desperately needs it. You need that space. That's where I'm going with this episode. To add value to a world that desperately needs some good news is a staggering thought that likely fills you with a sense of overwhelming fear. A fear of falling short. A fear of not seeing what value you could possibly put out there to neutralize the toxic rhetoric of our times. Yes, I agree. It's a scary thought to pull away in order to push forward. It may be difficult for you to even see your value at this point. The world is coated in a heavy blanket of negativity, brought about by people in power who want to hold others down in order to raise their levels. The time has never been more important for you to raise even higher and find ways that you can increase the level of optimism in you and in those around you. Everywhere you look, there's opportunity to bring this sort of value. And it's more imperative than ever to do so. As Albert Einstein once quoted, "Only a life lived for others is worth living." The fact about adding value is this: you will grow by giving it. It multiplies love, compassion, happiness, encouragement, and wisdom. And although not a motivation for giving, when you help others raise their standards by adding value to them, with no expectations of getting anything from them in return, more value comes your way. And also think about this. When you're busy adding value to others, you have less time to contemplate the bad things circulating outside your front door. The times of overanalyzing go away. And they are replaced by active participation in something worthwhile that adds instead of detracts from the world. So where to begin? Well, possibly the easiest thing that you can do to start making your life and other lives more rewarding is to add happiness to it. Make it a goal every single day to add something happy to someone else's day. Figure out what works for you. Maybe you hold the door for someone and wish them a good day. Maybe you bake your neighbor's cookies, or you send someone in your Facebook contact list a happy message to tell them you think that they're really special. It's simple things. That's all it takes to start the ripple effect and to make your happy mark. Post something funny, like a funny dog video or a joke. You know, science has proven that laughter is the great multiplier of joy. It's contagious. That's the great gift of laughter. It speeds up the ability to tune out of things that don't serve you and to tune into things that do. Or maybe find someone who is suffering and point out something that you love about her. Tell her what an impact she has had on you and how you are so grateful for her being in your life. It's amazing how a compliment can affect somebody. You never know how much a kind statement can make a person's day and leave lasting effects on her well-being. Something else you can do is ask people for help with fun things like sharing a new recipe they may have, a new way to decorate, or activity ideas for a rainy day. Really, simple things like that get people going in a good way. People love to be useful. And by giving them a means to do this, you open the door for them to help and process those good vibes that come along with it. Ask deeper questions than the typical, "How are you?" For example, ask someone, "What is exciting in your life at the moment?" Or, "What is something that you've learned recently that you want to share?" Get the dialogue ball rolling into something purposeful and engaging. Something that opens up the spigot to good feelings and positive communication. Get off the tired path and get onto something new by simply changing the conversation. Another thing is to always be searching for the good in people. When you find it, acknowledge it. Focus on it. Talk to people about it and how it positively affects you. You may well open the door to honest, flowing communications with someone that you may have otherwise overlooked or ignored due to differences. Also, be vulnerable. Admitting our faults and choosing imperfection shows those around us that we are simply human. This levels the playing field. It shows value by indicating that we care more about that other person than we do about saving our own face. It validates the importance of a relationship in a meaningful way. Admitting weakness also communicates honesty, trust, and boldness. And by sharing vulnerability, you open yourself up to adding value beyond the surface. and on a deeper level that can truly transpire relationships and lives. The goal in life is to connect, right? To connect with people so we can enrich and be enriched. The only way to do this is to get out there and be that person that you want others to be. Be that change. Be that light. Be of great value to yourself and others so that when your ripple effect spreads, it lifts the lives of those fortunate enough to be in your presence.